Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Black Spitter Music Vidcast. Today, my co-host Al Horta is not with us today. He is under the weather, but we do have our great guest today, Travis Perota. How's it going, Travis?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us here tonight. And also, Joseph Staub was supposed to be here, but he had to work late. So it's going to be a two-man show here with me and Travis. And today's topic, chosen by Al, is going to be the top 10 plus five songs with school in the title. We are celebrating the return of school, back to school. Traditionally, it begins the day after Labor Day, but things have changed a lot around the country. A lot, like for an example, here in Texas, it started in mid August. So now everyone starts differently. But for me, when I was a child, I remember that summer was officially over on Labor Day and officially began on Memorial Day. So that's why we're doing this with the title being school. Before we get started, how's it going, Travis? How you been, man?
Not bad, man. I have a couple days off uh, starting tomorrow, so that's some good news. I've been working my tail off lately,
Yeah,
but everything's been going all right, man. I got no complaints. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. The same, just working hard. It's really good to come home and spend some time with family during in the evening, and then come online and do these shows with friends and talk about music. But before we do that, we have a really good section on here called "What's Spinning." So go ahead, Travis. What have you been listening to lately, man?
Well, I got a couple of releases that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, I'll go in chronological order. I'm going to start with a really great '60s album. I've been listening to lots of '60s music lately. One second only to the '70s as the best decade of all time. To me, '60s music had great rock music, great pop, great Motown, and even some great country music too.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the third album from this band. In my opinion, the most underrated, even though they're cited as an influence on like early heavy metal bands. I'm gonna go with the Yardbirds' third release, "Having a Rave Up with the Yardbirds."
Oh, okay.
Released in 1965. Of course, it's got the classics like I'm a Man" and "Heart Full of Soul," but it's got "You're a Better Man Than I" and the original "Still I'm Sad," which Rainbow would later cover on their first album. "Evil Hearted You," I love that song, and there's a great version of "Train Kept a Rollin'."
Yeah.
This album featured Jeff Beck on lead guitar, and eventually Jimmy Page would join the fold, and they would be in the same band together at one point before Jeff Beck left. Um, Keith Relf, I love his voice, one of the great British Invasion rock vocalists.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right
Uh,
about
I'm,
that.
I'm I'm a big fan of that of the Yardbirds. And my second thing I've been spinning
Yeah.
is an album from a band that, as a whole, I think this band is underrated, despite them being the starters of progressive rock. I'm going to go with the second album from King Crimson, "In the Wake of Poseidon" from 1970. It
Oh,
would be
okay.
the last album to feature the team up of Robert Fripp and Greg Lake. And to me, Greg Lake is my favorite prog vocalist. Um, I think it's equal. It's not as great as "In the Court of the Crimson King," but I still think it's a really strong second outing from this band. It's got "Pictures of a City," which is a really whacked out like jazz fusion progressive rock classic. It should be a classic. It's great. You got the beautiful "Cadence and Cascade." That's a great song. "Cat Food's" kind of silly, but it's fun. And then you got this epic song called "The Devil's Triangle," which I think it would be great in like a horror movie.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go with King Crimson, "In the Wake of Poseidon" as my second pick.
Oh well, I'm completely different. I did pull this out on Monday. On Sunday mornings, I like to listen to R&B, soul, jazz. So something that's a little bit quieter. This wasn't quiet at all, but it's a double album called Wax Stacks. Watt Stacks. And what this was a album that Stax Artists did. Stax being the infamous label that is out of Memphis, Tennessee. Well, they did a free concert in Los Angeles at the Coliseum to for the 10-year anniversary of the Watt riots. So they did this, and and each band had about a half on each side, and this is a double album. Like for instance, side 4, the second half is all Isaac Hayes. Side 3, the second half is all Albert King, and it starts off side 1 starts off with Carla Thomas and her dad Rufus Thomas. They do sides. They take up side 1. Side 2 is the Staple Sisters. So it's pretty cool. It's
What's it called? What's it called?
Watt Stacks.
Watt Stacks.
WATT Stacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you send me a link to that? Because I'm very interested.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Watt riots that happened in '65 in LA. Well, this was a concert to commemorate that horrible time in LA.
Okay.
And it was done by Stax Artists. So Watt Stacks, STAX.
Nice. So I'll definitely. I'm interested in checking that out.
Yeah. I'll send you a link for it. I think you got Apple Music too, don't you?
I do. Yes.
Okay, I'll see if it's on there. If not, I'll send you the YouTube link. But
Perfect.
here's the inside of it with Isaac Hayes and everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
Doing their thing. So, that's really cool. And also, I got into some hip hop lately. Well, I always have been, and I really miss my tapes and CDs that I had in the late '80s, early '90s. I gotta start collecting those again. But I do have this 4 CD set called Hip Hop: The Golden Era. This is a 4 CD set. The Golden Era being 1979 to 1999. It's got like just for instance, it's got Public Enemy, NWA, the Sugar Hill Gang, Raw Bass, DJ Easy Rock, Run DMC, the Notorious B.I.G., the Far Side, which I like the Far Side. But then it's got Curtis Blow and Chubb Rock, Big Daddy Kane, a lot of the early '80s going into the late '90s. So it's a 4 CD set, and I think I picked this up for a couple of bucks. So I'm really enjoying it. I got it in the car right now. I got disc 3 in there. So I've been listening to this a lot as well. And
Right
then
on.
I popped in some Ice Cube and some A Tribe Called Quest during the week, and then and then and then a CD that is over there tucked away, Almond Brothers, where it all begins, which they don't go together, but still.
That's with Warren Haynes and
Yeah, Warren Haynes is
Alan Woody?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love Seven Turns, man. That's a great album.
Yeah. This was where
Was that before or after Seven Turns?
After.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the last studio album. Was where it all begins. After that, they start to release live albums. But it had some really big hits on that album as well. It had like.
Wait, did I get it right? I said Alan Woody, right?
You did.
Okay. Right on.
And it's a blazing album, man.
Yeah. I love it. I am a huge Allman Brothers fan.
Yeah, me too. So with that being said, even though Joseph and Al are not with us today because of I said Al's under the weather, Joseph is had to do something at work and stayed a little late, but they did send us their list. Hey there, Jimmy Schwartz. How's it going? It's good to
Jimmy James Schwartz. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So what we're doing is the top 10 plus 5 songs with school in the title. We'll start off with you, Travis, and then I'll read Joseph's. Then I'll do mine, and then I will do Al. Al will go last, since this is his theme. So,
Perfect.
all right.
Okay.
So, what are you gonna start off, man? What is your number 10 song with the word "school" in the title?
Well, number 10 is a song that's been covered by many bands and artists, but I decided to go with the Grateful Dead's version of Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, which comes from their debut album released in 1967. I know a lot of hard rock and metal fans have it in for the Grateful Dead, but I think those albums that had Ron Pigpen McKernan are absolutely great, and I think this features his vocals on that track. So I love the Grateful Dead. So my number 10 is the Grateful Dead's version of "Good Morning Little Schoolgirl."
Oh, that's a great pick. I too enjoy the Grateful Dead, because you can just put them on, just let it play, and let it go to wherever you want it to go.
Yeah,
Some people say that, oh, well, their songs are too long. Well, when you put on an album, I'm there to listen to it, and I don't.
I,
It really
I
doesn't
think
matter how long I'm going to listen to it.
I think the thing with people that don't like the Grateful Dead, that are in the hard rock and
Yeah,
metal community, like they'll see the skeleton and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be heavy," and then they'll listen to it and they'll be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And then, yeah, I got that vibe when I first heard them, but I liked it still, and I think they're a great band. And if you don't like the live stuff, because I think that's what turns people off is when they jam for too long, that
yeah,
I say go check out the studio stuff, especially the first three albums, the self-titled debut. Um, I forgot what the second album's called. It had "That's It for the First One"
yeah.
and "Alligator," and that's the third one, "Oxo Moxo." Those first three albums they're true psychedelic Grateful Dead greatness. So I recommend those a lot.
You see, but I enjoy their live stuff more.
I do enjoy their live stuff too.
I like it when they can take a song and turn it, add 10 minutes to it. I
Yeah.
love that. I think that's great.
And if the Grateful Dead is in your bag, it's all
Yeah.
good. I understand if people don't like the Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
a
It
very
took me a while.
yeah. I mean, I love them upon the first listen, but I get it. It's not for everybody.
Oh no, it took me a long while to really understand what what they do. Joseph, his number 10 is "School" by Supertramp.
More on that later.
Yeah, I'm not. I do know. Of course, I know Supertramp, but not to the point where I know the song "School." I kind of know their radio hits. And my number 10, what Andy is going to start off with, I got to make sure that I separate these. What I'm going to start off with, my number 10, is going to be by Jude Cole, who does the song for the movie Back to School. If y'all remember that movie with the great Rodney Dangerfield
And Sam Kinison.
and Sam Kennison, yes. Back to School. Jude Cole does the main song for that movie, and I think it's a pretty cool '80s rocker. So Back to School, and Al Horta, the co-host to the show, starts off with "Be Cruel to Your School" by Twisted Sister. That's his number 10. Be cruel to your school.
Yeah, that will not be on my list.
Yeah, mine. All right, all right, Travi, Patty. What's your number 9?
All right, my number 9. We're going from the Grateful Dead to Wasp from their first album released in 1984, I think. "School Days." I
Okay.
love this song. It's just a killer heavy metal tune. One of the underrated songs from the first Wasp album. That first Wasp album, for me, top to bottom, is just perfection. And like, say what you will about what they became later on. Some people tune out after the first two albums, but I think that first Wasp album is pure heavy metal greatness. So Wasp "School Days" is my number 9.
All right. Joseph Staub, his number 9, also mirrors my number 9 as well. "School" by Nirvana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
The
I
original was
forgot about that.
yeah. The original was off of Bleach, but they also have done several live versions of that. One of them, which is my favorite one, is live at the Paramount when they do a version of School. So that's a pretty cool song too.
That's a
So
great choice.
yeah, so that's his number nine. That's also my number nine as well. The number nine for Al is I'm not too familiar with this school. There's so many songs out there called School Days, but Al, his number nine is School Days by the Runaways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by the Runaways. The great band that featured Lita Ford and Joan Jett
Sherry
and
Curry,
Terry
Jackie
Curry.
Fox,
Yeah,
Sandy West.
yeah. A lot of big names came from that band alone, which is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, they're a
So,
great band. I love the Runaways.
yeah, the Runaways. So, what's your number eight?
All right, my number eight. Well, I'll say this: Grease and Grease 2 each have a song on my list. So number eight is the song that opens Grease 2, the Four Tops with "Back to School Again." I think this song is kick ass. I love this song, and I love Grease 2. I'm not afraid to say that. I love that movie. I
I
know it gets a
do.
lot of hate. Not as great as the first one, but
No,
I still enjoy it. So the Four Tops Back to School Again is my number eight.
I I do like Grease 2, not as much as Grease 1, but you're right. That song, that intro song to the movie is really good. And I
Yeah,
never knew there was the Four Tops.
it's a great tune.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a good song. And speaking of, number eight by Joseph Staub is going to be Old School Hollywood by System of a Down.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah. What album is that off of? Do you
I ain't
remember?
gonna lie, I don't know.
Okay.
I wish I had my iPhone on me. I would tell you.
I got my phone with me. Old School Hollywood by System of a Down. We were just talking about System of a Down right before we got on the air here because Travis is
Old
wearing
School
a
Hollywood,
shirt.
is that from? I don't know why I'm forgetting this. Help us, audience.
I got it.
Okay.
It's off of Mesmerize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, man, that's a really cool album cover too. So number eight for Joseph is Old School Hollywood by System of a Down. My number eight, I loved this song when it first came out. It's a rock song from the '90s by Stone Temple Pilots, off of songs from tiny songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, which was their third album. The name of the song, Art Schoolgirl.
Nice. That's a great album.
Yeah,
I love
people don't talk about
STP.
that album as much. They talk about the first two.
STP is great.
And that album, Tiny Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, it's a very psychedelic album. It really is
Yeah.
for the '90s, and
I
the
love it.
lyrics are so good.
That's how I got into them. I heard "Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart," and I thought it
Yeah,
was great. And I went out to listen to more of their stuff, and I became a fan.
yeah,
So
yeah. And in fact, there's a lot of changes in those songs on that album, and Art Schoolgirl is one of them. So that is my number eight. Al's number eight, Al Hortis number eight, is going to be "Back to School" by Ace Frehley.
uh,
Yeah, I'm not too sure what album that one is off of.
that's from. Jeez, it's the album that has that cover of "Do Ya." Is
Okay,
it
so that was his day. Not
Trouble Walking?
Trouble Walking. Okay, all right.
I think members of Skid Row were on some of those songs.
Oh, really? Huh. Interesting. So
Mhm.
that's Al's number eight is "Back to School" by Ace Frehley. What's your number seven, man?
All right, number seven from the first Grease movie, Frankie Avalon, Beauty School Dropout. I
I love
love
that
that
song.
song, man.
Yeah, me too. Beauty School
It's
Dropout.
great. Love that segment.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Frankie Avalon.
Frenchie couldn't do hair for shit, but
No,
God knows she tried.
yeah. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
No, I have not.
There's a mural there of Frankie Avalon.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It's along with It's also along because that's where a lot of the teen idols came from. Was from Philadelphia, and Bobby Rydell is also
Oh,
on the wall too.
nice.
Which I thought Bobby Rydell was a fictional character from Greece, but it's not.
Mhm.
But that was Rydell High. Remember that? That
Yeah,
was the name of
and
the school. Was Rydell High.
The first Grease is one of my favorite movies of all
Yeah.
time.
So is Rydell High also the name in Greece too?
Yes.
Is it okay? All right. I wasn't too sure of it. Well, of course, it's got to be the same schools. I mean, they're not going to change gangs and the T-Birds and the Pink Ladies aren't going to be at another school, especially when they only had like 4 or 5 members.
Beauty School Dropout.
Oh,
I see that song is so catchy.
go back to high school.
Go back to high school.
Beauty School Dropout. Number 7 by Joseph. It's going to be the same as Al. It's going to be Back to School by Ace Frehley.
I'll make no bones about it. I hate that song.
my number 7. You got to check this song out.
All right.
The School Days by Stanley Clarke. Off the album
Okay.
Days. You were talking last week about about jazz rock fusion.
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Check out that album, School Days, by Stanley Clarke. In fact, I'll send you a couple via okay, and
All right. That sounds good.
via Apple. So that's my number 9, School Days. It's a great jazz rock send up. It's about 9 minutes long. And it starts off pretty much with really good guitar. But Stanley Clarke is the bassist. Stanley Clarke is one of the great jazz fusion bass players. So his bass playing is really outstanding. And once you get into the jazz rock fusion, you'll start to see and pay attention to all these musicians played on each other's projects or in each other's bands. You'll start to see their names pop up in different bands or different albums. Like Stanley Clarke is known to play bass with Chick Corea a lot, or to be in Chick Corea's bands a lot. So check him out. I will send you some of his solo stuff that I like.
Well, thank you. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
it's Stanley Clarke. It's really good jazz rock fusion, man. It really is. It's good stuff. Number 7 for Al Horta is going to be. I guess you were the only one that didn't pick Nirvana School. I guess you forgot that one, Travis.
Yeah, I do love that song.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one. It's School by Nirvana. What's your number 6?
All right, number 6. I hope this is on everybody's list because this is one of the just greatest like punk rock songs of all time. The Ramones, "Rock and Roll High School." It's just fantastic, and man, it's a great movie too. And by the way, Cheap Trick was supposed to be the original band for that movie.
Yeah,
fun little fact. But I absolutely love the Ramones.
I would think the Ramones fit that movie more.
Yeah, they do. They're more like more like Delinquents.
Yeah, with
it fits well with that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Rock and Roll High School's my pick.
It took me a while of not falling asleep in the middle of the movie to get through it, but I did get through it.
All right.
Number 6 by Joseph is going to be Back in School. The mini Maggot by the Deftones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm still getting into them.
Number 6.
Nice.
My number 6, speaking of Cheap Trick, I think mine's a little lower than everybody else's. Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School by Cheap Trick. I might
More,
even be your daddy.
more on that song later.
Yeah, that's such a trippy song, man. It
It's
really has a good rock beat to it, like most Cheap Trick songs. But the lyrics are just
love
woo.
that, love that bass riff from Tom Peterson.
Yeah.
It's so good. That first Cheap Trick album is a masterpiece.
Yeah, dude, that first one, and several of the albums are really good. More on that later by
Yeah,
you, I'm
what an
sure.
opening statement from that band,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, for that album,
They're so underrated.
and that is number 6 for me. Al's number 6. Al's number 6 is Mother Don't Want to Go to School Today
Oh, Extreme.
by Extreme. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
I like
Al-
Extreme.
yeah,
I like
yeah. That's Al's number 6, and I really wish that they were here to talk about him. Do you know what I mean?
them. Hmm.
Yeah, it's really good to get people's insights of why these songs are where they are and how they were for them. So so I number 5. Okay, okay. I'm going good. I'm going good. Number 5, Travis.
Number 5 is a really great all female rock band. And I think you should check these ladies out, Andy. They have like an AC/DC kind of sound to them, really high energy. I'm talking about the Donnas with New Kid in School. I think this song just kicks ass. It reeks of AC/DC. They're awesome. The Donnas rule.
I
Great
do
band.
like the Donnas. I just haven't heard them in so long.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I I do like them quite a bit. I like their edgy music. I like
Yeah.
them,
I
but I
heard
do.
I heard Take It Off for the first time, and I was like, I love this. This is just meat and potatoes hard rock,
Yeah,
just the way I like it.
yeah, but I do need to spend more time with them. I really haven't. Number 5 for Joseph. It's been mentioned by you already. Rock and Roll High School by the Ramones. So we'll see if everybody has that song or not. That might be the song that might be on everybody's list,
I hope so.
but I think a couple of songs are going to be on everybody's list. But that makes number 5 for Joseph. Rock and Roll High School by the Ramones. My number 5. I don't think you like this band that much. I think I've heard you not say that you don't like this band that I'm about to mention. Be Cool to Your School by the Beach Boys.
I've actually really grown to like the Beach Boys now,
Have
so
you?
I dig them now.
Oh, good, good, good. But
Hmm.
but Be Cool to Your School. I like the whole whole night early '60s high school cheering. With a boom, 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 shish quick rah, and they got like a marching band playing, and be cool to your school, and it talks about school spirit. I don't know if that's still around. But when I was in high school was between '89 and 1993, and even though I was not in any extracurricular activities, and I did the only reason why I would go to the football games was to go hang out, which I should have been watching football because I love the sport so much. But I did have a lot of spirit for my school. I loved my school. I love for what we stood for. So I understand this song very much. So, Be Cool to Your School by the Beach Boys.
All right.
And number 5 by for Al, it's going to be School Days by AC/DC, the cover of Chuck Berry's classic School Days, which, man, I love that line. There's no other better line in a song than "Hell, hell, rock and roll." Isn't that true? Hell, hell, rock and roll. So that is number 5. What's your number 4, man?
All right, number 4. You mentioned this song before. Cheap Trick. Daddy should have stayed in high school.
Yeah.
Could have been your daddy. That's so creepy. And this
Yeah.
song would not fly today. The lyrics to this song would not fly today at all. But you know what? Not a lot of people talk about. And if you listen to Ralph Vieira's review of the first Cheap Trick album,
Yeah.
he talks about how it's such a great segue of how Hello Kitty's transitions right into Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's just a great rock song. Ooh, I love that chorus.
Yeah.
Sorry for my bad singing. It's just a great, great song from a great band. Better than Oasis. Next.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can't compare the two. They're completely different bands. That was your number 4, right? Number
Yeah.
4 by Joseph, you already mentioned it. School Days by Wasp. You had said that was on their debut album, right?
Yeah, Wasp. Yep.
Yes. Okay. That's not going to be on my list, but it looks like it's on all of y'all's lists but mine. My number 4 is a really good one of the early day rock and roll songs, and that is going to be High School Confidential by Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, okay.
It's such a good song.
Cool.
You know, it's a dance sock hop kind of song. And in fact, you mentioned sock hops and high schools and stuff like that. And it's got a really good rock and roll beat, the early stages of rock and roll. So High School Confidential by Jerry Lee Lewis. I'll make sure that I say Jerry Lee and not Jerry Lewis. Okay. Number 4 by Al Horta, School Days by Wasp. I'm going to be the only one that doesn't have that on his list. I'm telling you that right now. I will be the only one without it on there. All right, what's your number 3, man?
Well, I couldn't imagine a list with songs that have school in the title. I can't imagine it without Alice Cooper's "School's Out." It's just an all-time classic rock staple. Love that song to death. It's forever a classic. I love the riff. What need I say more about that song? It's a masterpiece.
Okay. We are in Labor Day. We're celebrating September.
Right.
It's not on my list, even though that's one of my favorite songs of all time, but it's a May end of school song. School's out, not school's in. But I'm the only one that didn't pick it, and I knew it was going to be picked because it's a classic. It's an all-time classic. Am I right? Alice Cooper, "School's Out." Even the album "School's Out" is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing about the album "School's Out," you start to see and hear all the little nuances that Alice Cooper will add to his music. He did the psychedelic for the first 2 albums. He did the heaviness for "I Love It to Death" and
Killer.
and then you do "School's Out," and "School's Out's a little weird. It's a little off kilter. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's some songs on there you're like, this is Alice Cooper. This is the guy that does doing Killer. Yes, it is. And that is the beginning of so much that really opened the door for Alice Cooper. It really opened the door to him doing whatever they wanted to do as a band. So that's what I think about School's Out. I love it, but it's not on my list. Number 3 by Joseph is going to be "Mild School" by Steely Dan.
Joseph, you rule for that choice.
Are you familiar with that song?
Oh, well, you'll be hearing about it in a minute.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that song. I'm gonna have to figure out what that song is. But "Mild School" by Steely Dan is his number 3. And my number 3 is "Rock and Roll High School" by the Ramones. I got that Ramones Mania, the double album, which is a compilation. It's by Sire Records, and I got it over there on this side of the room. And I'm not too sure what year that came out, but it's such a great compilation. And I think I might have the 45. I know that I got the 45 of Sheena's a Punk Rocker, but I think the flip side is "Rock and Roll High School." on the flip side, if I'm
I
right.
have a really cool picture book of the Ramones from Martin
Yeah.
Popoff. It's
Oh,
really
really?
good. Yeah, it's a big book of really cool photos with the of the Ramones. It's really awesome.
I wish I could find it because I have all my 45s right
It's,
here.
it's a it's a good it's a good book. I think you can. I found it on eBay.
Oh, yeah?
hmm I also have this really just to talk about Martin Popoff for a second. I have this great book called this is like the best Black Sabbath book you'll ever read in your life. Doom Let Loose from the of Black Sabbath. That's an awesome book.
Oh, pretty cool. I'm not finding it. I keep on, because
Yeah.
I keep a lot of my stuff in alphabetical order, and I keep pulling out Pretenders and Lionel Richie on 45s.
I love the Pretenders.
So I know Ramones are here somewhere.
Lionel Richie and the Pretenders. Those are two very different musical acts.
Yeah, but
I love them both though.
I got them in alphabetical order. That's why they're side by side on each other.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm never gonna find it. Well, I will one day. Oh, well, so where are we? Oh yeah, Rock and Roll High School number 3. Number 3 for Al Horta is going to be the song that we all have. Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School by Cheap Trick. So that one for sure everybody has on their list. What is your number 2?
Number 2, this was also on Joseph's list. I'm a huge fan of Supertramp. Of course, I'm talking about School from Crime of the Century. How great is that song with that opening harmonica? Just leads into the song. It's very mellow, and then it just switches like into another. That's what I love about Supertramp. So many great passages in their songs. I'm a huge fan, and I think School is just a perfect prog classic. So Supertramp's School is my number 2.
I should really dig into them a little bit more.
That's a great album to start with. This Crime of the Century.
As Crime of the Century. I do have Breakfast in America.
That's a great album too. It's a classic.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do like that album, but then I stopped there. You know what I mean? I just
that's a good place to stop. It didn't make that many great albums afterwards.
But then I never did anything before that either. So I just right there was just where I stopped. So Joseph's number 2, "School's Out" by Alice Cooper.
All right.
Like I said, I'm going to be the only one that doesn't have it there because of the Memorial Day, Labor Day kind of thing.
It's all good.
Yeah, my number 2. I know that Al talked about the School Days by AC/DC, but I went with the original version by Chuck Berry. Ring, ring goes the bell. It just amplifies, exemplifies, and amplifies everything that rock and roll that is going to come afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that was 55, 56.
Yeah. I'm not a Chuck Berry fan, but I respect him.
Oh yeah. I love Chuck Berry. I think he's fantastic. So he's my number 2. Number 2 for Al Horta is going to be Rock and Roll High School by the Ramones. I knew that he was going to have that up highlight that because he's a big Ramones fan. So number 2 for Al is the Ramones Rock and Roll High School. All right. What is your number 1, Travis?
All right, on
song with the title "School" in it.
My number 1 song with the word "school" in the title comes from my all-time favorite Steely Dan release, "Countdown to Ecstasy." I'm talking about "My Old School." What a great song that is! It's perfection. Love the different passages in that song. Great guitar playing on it. Great lyrics. It's just a perfect album start to finish. "Countdown to Ecstasy." Yeah. Steely Dan rules. My number 1. Steely Dan, "My Old School."
Number 1 by Joseph is a song that we all have. "Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School."
All right, cool.
Trick is his number 1.
Wonderful.
Yeah, good song. My number 1. Okay, I kind of played this a little bit. My number one is going to be My Old School by Steely Dan. Absolutely love that song. Steely Dan's one of my favorite bands. And when I first heard that song, the 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 guitar solo, back to the verse, into the sax,
It's
so,
it's it's
and
so
then
great.
back to the guitar solo.
That's great.
The the lyrics tell a gripping story, of course. Well, not gripping. I made it sound like it was gripping, but you know what I mean. The story of the drug bust at the college, and I think Fagan got busted. He went to jail for that for that tale.
Is Jeff Skunk Baxter on that album?
Yes, Jeff Skunk Baxter plays lead
Awesome.
guitar on that.
He's a great
Yeah,
player.
yeah, he really is. They lost a lot after he left.
After the first three albums,
Yeah, even though I
they
like,
turned into they just for every album they brought in session players for each release, different session players.
yeah,
Not a bad thing. I love all the Steel Dan's albums, but
oh yeah,
those
me too.
first three albums to me are amazing.
I do like Peg. I like Peg and Katie Lied above those three.
Josie's my favorite Steely Dan song.
Yeah, but that side one to Jimmy Swartz says should definitely go back to Crime of the Century. It's brilliant.
It's a
So
great
that is
album.
something that I will try to go back to. But the side one of Katie Lied by Steely Dan is in pure perfection. You know, it's got Black Friday, Bad Sneakers, Rose Darling, my friend.
The
That's a
I,
great side.
my second favorite Steely Dan album is it's the Royal Scam. That's
The
my
Royal
second
Scam.
favorite. Kid Charlemagne, the Fez. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Um, I want to do a show about Steely Dan, but I'm just not quite sure of what or how.
Top 11
So,
songs, top 10 songs.
top 10 songs is what I was thinking of too.
Yeah,
I'll let you know about that definitely.
absolutely. I'll definitely take part in that.
And the number one song on Al Horta's list, "School's Out" by Alice Cooper.
Mm.
This is
There you go.
everybody's number one, and it's not even on my list. I should really learn not to be such a stick in the mud or be such a stickler. But
You're fine.
all right, what are your honorable mentions, Travis?
All right, I have two honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I have the Beach Boys "Be True to Your School,"
Oh, cool.
and then I have Gentle Giant with "School Days,"
Oh, okay.
which comes from the Three Friends album.
Um,
I love
you-
Gentle Giant. I just got into. I love that band now.
yeah, I've heard of them, but I've never really got into them. But I'll check
Three
them out.
Three Friends or Octopus is a great way to get into them.
I just have two honorable mentions. One is the by the Replacements, "Fuck School" by the Replacements. That's on a
That's my attitude towards school, man. I
and also a song by the Dead Milkmen called "Violent School,"
oh okay.
which talks about gun. Which if you know the Dead Milkmen, they're very sarcastic in their songs.
I know one song from them.
And what Punk Rock Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Beavis and Butthead commenting on that video. It was funny.
Yeah. And Violent School is very sarcastic. It's a commentary on violence in school. You know, people think they're cool because they take guns to school. And that was like in the late 80s, early 90s. So it's been an issue for a very long time. And we know Joseph. We know how Joseph is. Joseph has his +5.
Oh my.
So he's got "School Days" by AC/DC. Beauty School. No, wait. Is it Beauty School? Beauty School by the Deftones. I'm not. I'm guessing that's not a cover of "Beauty School Dropout." Is what I'm guessing.
No.
His number 3 is "Old School" by Overkill.
I don't like that song at all. I mean, I love Overkill, but that song just.
I'm not that familiar with Overkill, so I was wondering if you want to talk to about
It
that.
was on an album. I think it was called Relics. That's what
Okay.
it's called. But whatever.
And number 4 for him, Back to School by Nazareth.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
me some Nazareth.
Yeah, he's a big Nazareth fan, big time. But that's
Yeah,
another
he
band
got me more into them, Joseph
did he?
Scott. Mm-hmm.
And his number 5 is going to be "Cruel to Your School" by Twisted Sister with Alice Cooper, the different version with Cooper. So that's his number 5.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
thank you. Anything else you want to add to your list there, Travis?
No, that's about it. I hate "Be Cruel to Your School." I hate that song. I know Billy Joel does piano on that song.
Does he really?
I believe so.
Huh.
I don't know. I just got done with Twisted Sister after Stay Hungry.
Yeah, I stopped and started with Stay Hungry.
Did you
I don't
listen to
have
the first
anything
2
for that.
albums, Joel?
Nah,
First 2?
it's okay.
Okay.
I don't have to.
Pete Way of UFO, he produced the first album, I believe.
Oh, really? Huh.
Under the Blade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I should. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Jimmy James Swartz, for commenting, and all of you guys were going in and out. Also, next week here on the Black Spinner Circle, we're going to do it on the Tuesday because we've chosen not to do anything on September 11th. We're going to skip that date and let y'all reflect on our country. So on September 10th, what we're going to do is that we've had a lot of fun ranking songs on an album. So next week we're going to be doing the Beatles' Rubber Soul, ranking those tracks. So I hope y'all will join us for that. That'll be next Tuesday on September the 10th. Anything else you want to add, Travis?
No, I'm just wanted to say thank you for having me on.
Oh,
I had
of
a lot of
course.
fun.
Yeah, it's always fun with you on here, man. It's always a good time.
I love talking music. So
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for having me on, Andy.
Yeah, of course. And you're welcome anytime. I'll give you a ring about that other one if you want to be on that Beatles Rubber Soul one.
All right,
That's for
yeah,
sure.
I'll check my schedule. I'll put a request in for Tuesday next week, and we'll see. I'll see what happens.
All right, man. Sounds good. I'll talk to you later, man.
All
Peace
right,
out.
thank you, Andy. Peace. Bye-bye.
Bye.